Hello everyone, my name is Kieran and welcome to the Sevilla versus Manchester United match preview. I'm looking forward to it. It's a big game, the biggest game arguably, well, one of the biggest games in United season. I don't think this one just eclipses the Leicester City game, but it's still a big game regardless. And I'm looking forward to getting into it, getting stuck into all my predictions and thoughts going into it, and all of your predictions and thoughts going into the game as well. Before we get into that, please do make sure if you're watching, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and leave a like as well if you haven't already. That'd be absolutely brilliant. And let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, what you think about what I've said, and also your general predictions going in to Sevilla versus Manchester United Europa League semi-final. But we're going to get straight into it, and we're going to talk about Sevilla first because we always touch on the opponents, and they are a formidable opponent indeed. Unbeaten in 19 games. Beat Wolves 1-0, and obviously to the naked eye you might think it was a close game, but actually Sevilla really dominated that game. Wolves found it very, very difficult to break them down. So for me, I think it's going to be a very, very tough test. And we've played against Sevilla before, obviously a 2-1 loss in the Champions League round of 16, and a lot of people saw that as the beginning of the end for Jose Mourinho's career at Manchester United. So a lot of history with us against Sevilla. However, we are decent against Spanish teams. So that is something that we can look, well, only in semi-finals really. Anywhere else, we're not really that great against Spanish teams. But in semi-finals in particular, we're alright. So hopefully that record continues. But yeah, Sevilla are a very, very good team. And one player in particular to look at is Campos. He is frightening on that left-hand side. He's probably one of their best attackers, probably their best attacker they've got. Really, really good at just making those runs in behind and causing problems for defenders. Obviously, you know, we do have Aaron Wan-Bissaka on that side, and you'd like to think that defensive-wise, Wan-Bissaka is going to help us get through that easily. But again, Campos, he's someone who's tricky, he's someone who's hard to face, so that is something we've got to look out for. And also Ever Banega as well. Ever Banega, for me, is their main threat, is one of their main threats. Obviously, he's not like what their main threat going forward, but I think as someone who can take the ball and control the game, he's someone United have got to shut down if they've got any chance of winning this game. He's someone who can just take the ball in any position on the pitch, and he will just kind of pop up in every position on the pitch and just receive the ball and make key passes and just keep the ball ticking around, keep it moving. And it's very difficult to defend against when you've got someone who's able to take the ball and just play it about, just, you know, keep rotating the ball in midfield. Is so difficult to defend against because you don't know where to go with the man or, you know, go with the ball. It's hard. So I think Ever Banega is someone who, if we can shut him down, then I think we'll be able to stop them from having joy. So it's similar with them with Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba. If they can shut one of them down, then we'll find it difficult to create chances. But it's the same with Ever Banega really. But yeah, apart from that, I think Sevilla's team has changed a bit. Obviously, they don't have Wissam Ben Yedder, the kind of the boogeyman of last time, if you like. Someone who terrorised us when he came on. He did. So thankfully they don't have him, but they've got a plethora of very talented players who can keep the ball well in midfield, as all Spanish sides can. And they're just a good side. We know they're a good side. 19 games unbeaten as well. And I think they're going to feel confident that they can take this one. I think they're going to feel confident going into the game. They're a team that have also, you know, won the Europa League and know how to do it in the Europa League when it matters. Won the competition like 3 times in a row only a few seasons ago. So, yeah, Sevilla for me are, I wouldn't say they're favourites in this game, but they're kind of, yeah, I wouldn't say they're favourites, but I would say that it's close. It's a close one. I think it's maybe just in United's favour in terms of, you know, form and on paper, but at the same time, I think Sevilla, with the experience they've got in this competition, the experience they have winning this competition, I think it's very, very close. So that's my thoughts on Sevilla. I just want to welcome Dazza and Tom. Thanks for joining. I will be opening the phone lines sooner than you guys might think. I'm going to be opening them a bit earlier in the piece. But yeah, thanks for joining, guys. Appreciate it. Dazza says I'm crapping myself totally for this game. Very tough game. Yeah, obviously against Sevilla, it's a bit of PTSD after what happened last time. I think all United fans are worried, very, very worried about what's going to happen. And if Sevilla start well and they start controlling the game, it could be a very long night for Manchester United. But in some ways, the fact that they like to keep the ball, the fact they like to have possession, might play into United's hands. We have seen this season that we do like to counter-attack a lot, and we're much better on the counter-attack. We've beaten the likes of Man City and Chelsea when playing counter-attack. So maybe it might play into our hands if they like to keep possession. But we'll see how they play. They might change their system. I hope we don't change our system. I'll get onto that in just a second. Ocampos is a good player, the fake Messi, yeah. I know on FIFA, obviously, if you guys play FIFA, always the sort of player that comes up when you think you've got Messi and then you don't. So, yeah, listen, Ocampos is someone who we might have to look out for. I think certainly they've got a few players in there who are very, very good. As I said, Banega being one of them, the unsung hero really, almost a David Silva of the Sevilla team. So that's someone we've got to look out for. If we can stop him and stop him flowing passes into the forward line and just dictating the game at his own pace, then I think we'll be fine. Tom says it's the toughest game this season for sure in terms of pressure. Yeah, I think obviously the Leicester game for me had more pressure riding on it just because we needed to win that game. And obviously we could have drawn, but we needed to get the job done in that game. If we didn't have Champions League, I'm not sure realistically if we're going to get it through the Europa League. So I just think that that Leicester game for me was the biggest pressure game of the season, but this is a close second. Obviously, a semi-final. Obviously, if we get to the final, that's another pressure game. But I think right now, in terms of pressure, this Sevilla game is probably second to only the Leicester game, in my opinion. But of course, you can have a difference of opinion. Dazza says I'd hate to be a Barca fan. Yeah, listen. Obviously, good night for you, Daz. Last night, I was. I was thinking of you when Lewandowski scored the 7th goal of the night or whatever it was. But yeah, embarrassing. That was embarrassing, man. Absolutely embarrassing for Barcelona. Unbelievably clinical from Bayern, but absolutely embarrassing for Barcelona, to be honest with you. Lionel Messi can't do it on his own. He can't. And you can just see the difference of quality in that team from 10 years ago that beat us 3-1 in the Champions League final. There's such a difference of quality. It's ridiculous. But anyway, I'm going to get on to the my kind of thoughts on Man United going into this game. And obviously, we've got a pretty well fully fit squad. Obviously, Luke Shaw's still injured, but we knew that. Axel Tuanzebe as well, both out to the start of next season. But apart from that, we've got all the options available to us. And I don't think there's going to be too many changes to what we saw against Copenhagen. That's it. Wasn't even that long ago. I don't know why I'm forgetting. But yeah, what we saw against Copenhagen, I think Solskjaer is going to put out a very, very strong team, the strongest team that he can. Welcome Mo, man like Mo. Thanks for joining as well. Appreciate it. But yeah, listen, I think we're just going to have to put out our strongest team. And I said, I don't want us to change our formation. It'd be very easy for Solskjaer to drop into a back five, like he did against Chelsea, and try some sort of tactical rubbish. We have to keep the system that has been working for us. We have to. Because if we start changing it and start letting Sevilla just come at us, and we don't have that sort of quality to defend for 90 minutes against the Sevilla side. Yes, we've got the quality to do that against a Lask or a Copenhagen, but against Sevilla, I don't think we can. I don't think we're going to be able to hold out. So I think I'd like to see the same sort of 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1 formation, whatever you like to call it, that we usually play. And I think if we keep that, there's no reason why we can't, go through if we start the game well. Man City losing to Lyon in the Champions League. Could they be going out? And I tell you, if Man City lose, I think it's in the bag for Bayern. It's in the bag for them. Obviously, you've only got Leipzig and PSG left, and realistically, you're going to get past. Who are you playing? You're going to get past. Oh God, I don't know. Doesn't matter. You can let me know in the comments. But yeah, you're going to get past whoever you're playing anyway. So yeah, I think it's Bayern to lose. It's Bayern's to lose if Man City go out. It is Bayern's to lose. But I'm going to give you my starting 11 prediction for the game. Let me know your thoughts on the starting 11 prediction. I didn't do a starting 11 prediction for the Copenhagen game, but I'm going to do one for this game. And I think actually it's pretty self-explanatory really. I don't think there's going to be many changes from the Copenhagen game. I don't see why there would be. I don't see why there needs to be. I think it's going to be the strongest 11 we can. It's going to be the strongest 11 we can. I don't think David De Gea is going to play in goal. Now, some people might say, listen, why are we not playing David De Gea? David De Gea surely should be getting into our best 11. And yes, I think he is our best goalkeeper. Some people might disagree with me, but I believe David De Gea is our best goalkeeper. However, for me, I think Sergio Romero is our cup goalkeeper. And in the FA Cup, we swapped out David De Gea for Sergio Romero. And then obviously he made the howlers. Now I'm not saying the reason why, I'm not saying the reason why David De Gea made those mistakes was because the fact he got thrusted into the team. But I don't see what Romero's done wrong to warrant not being put into the semi-final lineup. I don't understand that. So Solskjaer might go with David De Gea, and if he does, then you can't really get on him too much, but in my personal opinion, I would probably go with Sergio Romero. But the rest of it is pretty self-explanatory, as you said. I'd probably keep buying the side instead of Victor Lindelof. I'd keep buying the side, play buying next to Harry Maguire, and then obviously Wan-Bissaka and Brandon Williams. Fernandes, Pogba and Matic. Obviously we started Fred against Copenhagen, but I think in this game we need to start Matic just for that control in midfield, that physicality, and just that presence in midfield that we're going to need against this side. And then up front, Rashford, Martial, Greenwood. It's got to be that. The pacing behind, the clinical nature of Martial and Greenwood. Rashford can be clinical when he wants to be. Is a good recipe if they're on form. And yes, some people are saying that we've been relying on individual performances over the past kind of few games to get us through. But in the end, if it gets us through, who cares? Who really cares if it gets us through? So that's my starting 11 prediction. Then I'm going to give my score prediction as well. My score prediction for the game is going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. I think, realistically, I just don't see us, taking them apart. I don't see it happening. I think we could get an early goal. There is a potential for an early goal. But I think Sevilla are going to want a lot of the ball. They're going to, really want to control that midfield, and if we let them control it and let them create chances, I think it'll only be a matter of time before one of them goes in. So we need to get hold of that midfield area and stop them and stop Banega and those sort of people from creating. But for me, I think it could be another 1-0, another scrappy 1-0 victory for Manchester United. Maybe even a penalty. In fact, I'd love it as a penalty. Absolutely love it. But yeah, I'm going to go with a scrappy 1-0 victory to Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes penalty. That's what I'm going to say. Bruno Fernandes penalty in the 70th minute to give us a 1-0 win. And we hang on for dear life and get the 3 points. Hopefully, obviously, hopefully it's easier than that. But that's what I'm predicting. But obviously in football, it doesn't matter what you predict. It's very, very difficult to do so. Welcome Liam and welcome United Hub. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. And yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments of what I've just said. But yeah, guys, if you want to call in, please do feel free to do so. I'll open the phone lines now. And as I probably won't be... Well, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm not sure how long I'm going to be live for, so we'll just see. Obviously, it's about you guys, about what you guys want to say. It's about your opinion. My Skype hasn't even updated, so it has to update. I should have done that before, I know, but it is what it is, isn't it? But yeah, fully live to Sevilla, the modern day Spanish team of tactics and play style. They were when we last played them. Sevilla were just very, very good at keeping the ball, and I think that's what they did. In that game at Old Trafford, there was never a time where we looked like scoring, but they always looked like scoring, and they just controlled the midfield area. And I think that is something that we're going to struggle against tomorrow. I think their midfield is much more suited to playing that kind of possession-based football, and we're very much more, counter-attack and having Bruno Fernandes play the balls over the top, so the likes of Rashford, Martial, Greenwood, and just hitting them on the break. And I think we need to play to our strengths in that regard. I don't think we need to, I don't think we need to go 5 at the back or anything. But I think if we can play to our strengths and be clinical, we need to be clinical. That's the main thing, and I always say it, but if you're not clinical in these sort of games, then there's no point. There is absolutely no point. But first call of the day, we should have Daryl. Daryl, mate, how are you doing? Thanks for coming on, mate. Appreciate it. Obviously, after yesterday, you're probably absolutely buzzing, and you're watching this Man City game probably absolutely buzzing as well.
I've just about recovered from that.
Yeah, I saw your live stream.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah, man.
Absolute.
What a victory, man! What a victory! I've got to say, Bayern for me have to be overwhelming favourites for the Champions League. If Man City don't get through here, you have to be overwhelming favourites.
Mm. Yeah, I think, with yesterday's performance, I thought Bayern 100% deserved it. Barcelona, they didn't really get going as such, but they are a team that are capable of, you know, cutting defences apart, and obviously Messi did with a nice bit of skill. It was practically a walk in the park for Bayern from the word go, because, Barcelona literally, I think they caused more problems for their own team than they did for Bayern. They were awful. Literally, I thought I was watching a FIFA match, to be honest.
Yeah.
It was
crazy.
Unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I hope you win it. I do hope you win it, to be honest, because if Man City go through, I'm sure, especially being a Man United fan as well, you want to beat Man City in the final. That makes it extra sweet. Extra sweet. Welcome, Imo Hersey. Thanks for joining as well. He's predicting United 3-1 win against Sevilla. That is confident.
Ooh.
But I hope you're right. I hope you are right. The 11 we all love. No Fred, no Bailly. Wow, you wouldn't play Bailly. Fair enough. I agree with the Fred. I agree with not playing Fred, but in my opinion, I would play Bailly in this game. I don't think he's been bad. I think he's been one of our best defenders. But Daz, we've got you on to talk about your opinion, not my opinion. And first off, in terms of the game, and in terms of Sevilla, did you watch the Sevilla game when they played Wolves?
I watched the last 20 odd minutes.
Oh, okay, right.
I didn't see much because I was playing football.
Oh, of course. Yeah, well, I watched it. I watched a bit of it, to be fair. I was kind of similar to you. I didn't watch the full thing, but I think...
No, that their goal was well taken, though.
Yeah, it was a good finish. But obviously, having watched Sevilla play United before in the Champions League, we know that Sevilla are a decent side. Do you think that Sevilla potentially come into this game as favourites?
Yeah, I'd say so, because if you look at Sevilla, they've won, I think, the Europa League about 5 times. And obviously they beat Middlesbrough in the UEFA Cup 2006 final. And obviously, as a Boa season ticket holder myself, it was a bit hard to take. And they are a team who, if you don't cope under the pressure, you will easily crumble. They can tear defences apart. They've got quality players, as you mentioned, Ever Banega. Luke de Jong is another player to watch out for. Obviously, Wassim Ben Yedder obviously isn't going to be playing because he plays now for Monaco, and it's a nightmare in division rivals and in real life. But it's one of those things. But no, I think Ben Yedder was a big part of that Sevilla squad when they last played against us, and I think without them, we could be in for an evenly matched game. I don't go into this game with that much confidence, I'm afraid, because I'm not convinced enough with United's defence. I don't think defensively we are solid enough to cope with the pressure that Sevilla apply. They've got a good manager. They're quite good in the Spanish league. And of course, they've got experience. They've got more experience than Manchester United playing in the Europa League. So I think experience could just be the pivotal factor. I think that's the word.
Yeah, I think experience is going to be key. Obviously, as you mentioned, they've had a streak, I think, a few seasons ago of winning it 3 times in a row, which is ridiculous. But they know how to get it done in these sort of situations. But obviously, we've also won the Europa League, and I think we've actually won the Europa League. I'm not sure about that, if we've won the Europa League more recently than them, but I'll have to check that out. But obviously, well, exactly. So we've won the Europa League fairly recently, and a lot of the players that are in that team are still in and around the squad at least. But at the same time, it's about who turns up on the day. And really, that performance against Copenhagen, as you said, didn't fill me with too much confidence in terms of like going into this game. But you mentioned obviously Ever Banega being the main threat. How do you think we should go about stopping him from being able to play the game that he wants to play?
I think it's really all going to depend on, the defence that Ollie starts. If he starts the right team and the right formation, then I think we'll be fine. I think we're gonna have to go in quite. I think it's gonna be one of them players because he's one of those players who can make ones forward. He can get forward. He can cause problems for defenses, and we have to be solid. We have to be solid defensively, and he's one of those players we're gonna have to about I'd say probably 2 men marking him. He needs to be man marked. If we leave him unmarked, well, we're dead practically.
Yeah.
So, we're going to have to be, quite physical and try and stop him from making runs and stuff. Because once he's through, he's through. It literally, you can't do anything else about it. Once he's through, and there's 1-0, and that's Sevilla for you. They could severely beat us if they wanted to. But that's a classic joke, isn't it? But it's not just all about Everton Hagen, mind. They play as a team. They're a solid outfit who are capable of beating anyone on their good day. And the beating Wolves, they came into this fancying, they were tipped to get to at least a semi-final, something like that. And as you said earlier in the stream, they crumbled under the pressure. And we can easily crumble. All it takes is for us to make one mistake, they're through, and we're out. So really, we're going to have to tread carefully in this game.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult, mate. I totally agree. I think it's going to be difficult. And as you said, I think you could argue that Sevilla come into this slight favourites because of their experience in the competition. Red Devil Studio, mate, thanks for joining, G. Appreciate it. It's this guy City are losing to Leon. I know, it's brilliant. It's so good.
What a shame.
What a shame indeed, Daz. What a shame, yeah. And he also says, let's not underestimate Sevilla. Great point, totally agree. I think everyone in the stream would agree with not underestimating because they're a decent side. I mean, we look at Wolves. We struggled against Wolves this season, and even though the scoreline was only 1-0, it could have been more. It really could have been more in that game. So we've got to have our wits about us. We've got to play well. We've got to play very well to not lose the Sevilla side. But we have to be clinical. I have to be clinical. But Daz, in terms of Manchester United now, does Ole change anything from the Copenhagen lineup, or do you think he should just keep it the same?
Nah, keep it the same. Because, against Copenhagen, we performed. We were by far the better team. We performed rather well. It was the finishing that really let us down. If I was the United manager, keep the same starting 11, because if you start playing different players and different tactics and stuff, like the Chelsea game where you started a back 5, and I was thinking, what is he playing at? You don't play back 5s against big teams like that, and if you do that against Sevilla, you're going to lose from the minute go. So, I wouldn't change the squad whatsoever. I would play the same squad that started against Copenhagen. I wouldn't play. Now, obviously, I think you mentioned the 3 up front.
Yeah.
Early one. I don't think he's going to play the front 3. Because I know what he's like. He tends to play the 4-2-3-1 formation. That's his most used formation. The 4-3-3 was the formation he used to use quite a lot at Molde.
Right, yeah.
But at United, it seems like his best formation's the 4-2-3-1. And I think he'll use that formation again. And I think he'll keep the same lineup. I don't see him changing it. Because if he changes it, then... I don't think any United fans will be too confident.
No.
And I'm not confident myself going into the game regardless. And obviously David De Gea.
Of course, yeah. I mean, that's the one thing I'd ask. Would you play David De Gea over Romero, or just keep that the same?
No. I certainly wouldn't. Not after his performance against Chelsea, I wouldn't. But I'm not. It's not just about the Chelsea performance. So it's about, who's better in which competitions. Because in the FA Cup, obviously, De Gea seems to be our Premier League goalkeeper. He only tends to play in the Premier League. And obviously in the Champions League at the same time. Which I assume he'll be playing he'll be the number 1 keeper for Champions League next season. But in the Cup games, the Carabao Cup, obviously, and of course, the Europa League and the FA Cup, it always seems to be Sergio Romero replaced. So why would you put David De Gea in goal ahead of a man who has actually performed quite well in the Europa League and in all the cup competitions? And I just wouldn't see the point in doing that. I think it'd be a bit, it'd be rather, what's the word, balmy.
Yeah. As I said, I'd agree with that. 100%. For me, Romero's got to play. I think after what happened in the FA Cup, we can't make that same mistake again. I think Romero, as he did in the Europa League in 2017, he could help us lift the Europa League in 2020. 2 Europa Leagues under his belt at Manchester United as well. With an EFL Cup, that'd be very decent for him. But he has got experience. He's got experience in this competition. But finally, Daz, I want to ask you, what is your score prediction going into the game? I know it's difficult to give a score prediction, to be fair, especially in this sort of game, because it's close. It's very, very close. But if you had to predict it, how would you go?
I'm not going to lie. I don't see us going through. I just think Sevilla will have too much quality. And with them obviously having experience of playing against us. But it could be a totally different game because they beat us 2-1 on aggregate. And that was in the 2 legs in Champions League. This time, it's one match. So if either team doesn't turn up, then we could be going to extra time stuff. I'm going to go... I want to go confident and say 1-1 and we win on penalties, so I just don't see us winning. I'm going to go 2-1 Sevilla after extra time because I just don't think we're going to do it.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough, to be honest. I don't blame anyone for thinking we're not going to go through because, to be honest with you, as I said, Sevilla, you could argue, are slight favourites coming into this one, and they've got the experience. And recently, we've been getting away with a few kind of dodgy performances. I think in that last game we played, we weren't that great. Obviously, we won the game 2-1, but we weren't even that great in that last game. So for me, I think if we play like that again against Sevilla, they won't let us get off. They won't let us get away with it. They won't. So we've got to be careful. But yeah, listen, Daz, mate, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. And hopefully you have a good rest of your evening. Hopefully Man City lose, and you'll probably be popping the champagne if they do.
They've equalised.
Have they?
Kevin bloody De Bruyne. Oh.
Okay. Well, Daz, thank you very much for coming on, mate. Appreciate it.
Right.
I'll see you in a bit.
See you in a bit. Yeah. Yes.
Cheers, Daz. Make sure to check out Daz's football stand as well if you aren't already. Make sure to check him out if he's in the live chat there. Great stuff on there. And welcome K-Side. Thanks for joining, mate. Appreciate it. Welcome Cassim. Appreciate it. Man like K, I see you've changed it too. But yeah, I'll call you Tom now, mate, because you did say you wanted to come on. I'll get you on then. Right, we'll call Tom. See what we've got to say. Tom, mate, thanks for coming on, mate. Appreciate it. Always good to have you on, mate. How are you doing?
Yeah, man, it's going good. How's you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. Obviously previewing the game. So yeah, just obviously on the Sevilla game, it's a big game. It is a big game. I mean, I think I've read you saying in terms of pressure, the biggest game of the United season so far. I think I'd say second best, but obviously everyone's got an opinion. But I'm going to ask you the same thing as Dazza. Sevilla are a very strong team. They like to keep the ball. How are we going to stop that, and how do you see the game going?
How would you stop Sevilla beating you, or like, should we say, tactically outclassing you?
Yeah, let's go with that.
There's one word. Take Ever Banega out the game. Take Ever Banega out the game. Can't do it. Can't create anything. They can't make anything. Say a goal out of nothing. He's like the Spanish Kevin De Bruyne for them. He's Sevilla's answer to Kevin De Bruyne. That's the simplest answer. Everything. And he pulls up things, puts a pass through, shoots from 30 yards, everything. I just think the way you beat him is you take him out of the game. You know, we spoke about when we did the Aston Villa game and everything. Spoke about how Jack Grealish is the main player in that team. The way you beat a team like Sevilla is you nullify the best player, and Ever Banega outshines every Sevilla player in every category in terms of like midfield stats and attacking stats. Maybe not defensively, but in terms of attacking stats, he's the biggest player. You know, he's that integral to that team. But I just think that Sevilla have shown so much. Should we say? How can I put it? Belief, because we've got to think in the Wolves game, they played amazingly. Wolves are not an easy team to, should we say, tactically outdo, because they play a different formation to most teams. They've got the tactical setups that they play these passing channels and all these other ways of playing, should we say?
Yeah.
It's not easy to play against a team like that. Man United have struggled against Wolves. Manchester City have struggled against Wolves. Even Liverpool have struggled against Wolves. So it's very hard to beat a team like Wolves, and Sevilla did it in the last minute with a bit of brilliance. However, there's a difference between Man United and Wolves. Wolves don't have as big impact players or as many impact players as Man United do. Ole said in the press conference, Man United's main stars need to perform tomorrow. If they don't perform, players like, I think we all know the players that we should be speaking about. Players such as Pogba, players such as Martial, Rashford, Bruno, all the top players, should we say. And even if De Gea plays in that, he's still a top goalkeeper. However, you've got to perform. It's a semi-final for crying out loud. And like you just said about, you think it was the second most important game of the season. I get where you're coming from with that. But the only reason why I was saying that was, I meant he's in like cup competitions. Because I said before, you'd sooner win the Europa League than win the FA Cup. And I think a team like Sevilla, for me personally, is a lot harder of a game than Chelsea. Because at least with Chelsea, you know what to expect. Because you're watching week in, week out in the Premier League.
Yeah.
When you play European teams, they play a different style of football, different way. And I said it in the chat, Sevilla are the modern-day Spanish team. They've got 3 tidgy midfielders, as Alex called it. 3 David Silvas, how you put it. Yeah, they've got 3 just little nitty-gritty players. I don't think one of them's probably taller than maybe 6 foot. That'd probably be it. You know, and I just think that these players, they're not defensively the best in the world. You know, Ever Banega's the only best attacking player out of the 3 midfielders that they would probably play. But they're workhorses. They run every single blade of the grass. And that's what's the difference between, say, having the best creative midfielders in the world, such like Pogba and Bruno, for example, in Man United's case. And there's a workhouse of a midfield. There's an engine there. And obviously, like Dazza alluded to earlier, Ben Yedder was the main problem when Man United faced him. But I have a lot more confidence this time round than the other time, because it's a different manager for a start. He's played in semi-finals. He's played in finals. He's won finals. You know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, so he knows the occasion. He knows everything about it. Maybe if fans were in the stadium, there's a lot more pressure to add on to that. You know, fans aren't in the stadium. But I just think that there can be a difference here. Yeah, there can be a major difference here.
Yeah, I think Solskjaer, the fact that he's had that experience, the fact that he's been in these sort of European competitions, I think it's definitely a positive going forward. I think it'll make United stronger overall. I think, and as you said, I totally agree that it's about the individual players turning up. Really, obviously you've got you've got the likes of Martial, Pogba, Bruno Fernandes. These are the sort of guys that need to turn up, and if they do, I think we will win the game, because on paper you could probably argue that United have got the better side. But in terms of the United side, actually getting onto that, would you make any changes from the Copenhagen lineup? One of the main debate points for me is obviously, do you play De Gea or Sergio Romero? What would you change anything from that Copenhagen lineup?
Yes, I would change a couple of things. Yeah, for me, I would play Matic. I'll get onto the goalkeeper. I'd play Matic ahead of Fred. Matic, when we played Aston Villa, pocketed Jack Grealish for 90 minutes. I think it's the exact same here with Ever Banega. You keep Ever Banega quiet. Sevilla aren't really that much of a threat going forward. Defensively, they're solid as a rock, really. But going forward, they offer nothing without him. So if you nullify him, like I said at the Villa game, you nullify Jack Grealish, you beat Aston Villa. You nullify Ever Banega, you beat Sevilla. It's as simple as that. And Matic is one of those players who's experienced enough to deal with players. And you've got to think, they're a similar age. So Banega's not going to be running rings around Matic. They're of a similar, should we say, calibre of players. Neither of them are that quick. So I think it's just a match made in heaven, really, there. Obviously, with the goalkeeper, regarding the goalkeeper situation, if it changes, Ollie, mate, he's in for some stick. He's in for some stick from United fans for sure. Sergio Romero doesn't start this game. I think he'll just quit. I don't see him staying at Man United, to be honest with you. Maybe even if it means that it's going to be second choice or third choice regarding what happens with Dean Henderson. But I said before the game, and I've said it a lot for a while, Leeds United are the main club in for Romero. Bielsa needs a new goalkeeper. The Argentinian links there between the manager and the player. What's not to love about that, should we say, relationship there? Romero, he can deal with the pressure of a semi-final. He's played in a World Cup final. That's the biggest thing in personal player competitions. The World Cup is the biggest competition in the world, probably bigger than the Champions League, but that's a debate for you. Yeah. But I just think, playing for your country, that's harder because you've got a whole country behind you rather than a whole city. So it's a lot more difference of pressure. But I just think Romero, he suits the game to an extent because really against Copenhagen, let's be fair, he didn't really have that much to do. He didn't, pull off a masterclass, had to make about 20 saves in the match, really. I know Copenhagen were amazingly compact and had the odd chance here, there and everywhere, but it wasn't really stretched to full capacity, really. But I just think that Romero, for me, he plays the semi-final, and if we get as far as the final, he plays the final as well. There is no way he shouldn't play this game. No way. Because I think if he doesn't, I think it's a disgrace, personally on the player's part, because it happened in the FA Cup with David De Gea and Romero switching places in the semi-final, and it backfired. Yeah, it backfired completely. And I think if David De Gea goes into this game, like we talked about with pressure, we talked about Banega and stuff, and how quality is. De Gea's in there, I'll tell you now, tomorrow, De Gea's in there. Banega shoots from 30, 40, maybe even 50 yards. I'd expect him to go in the back of the net. Because David De Gea, for me, butterfingers. He needs to play with some glue on his gloves and have the ball stick to his hands. Because the guy cannot catch a ball. It's just as simple as that for me. But I've got to be careful with things that I say. Maybe not necessarily regarding players or anything with my new job and everything. More or less with things off of the field. However, I just think that from a fan perspective, I think United are perceived as the favourites, but don't be surprised if Sevilla pull off some sort of a shocker.
Yeah, I wouldn't. As I said, listen, I think obviously for me, I totally agree with you on the David De Gea, Sergio Romero thing. I think Romero got to start this game. We have to learn our lessons from what happened against Chelsea, and he deserves to start. In this Europa League run, has he really made any kind of bad errors or anything like that? I don't think he has. So yeah, for me, Romero's got to start, and I think again Matic for Fred, I think has to happen, especially in a game where we're playing against better opposition overall. And in terms of their midfield, they're much better at just knocking about, so you need that presence in there. But in terms of your score prediction, Tom, mate, and I want to ask you about one more thing, not related to the game, after this, about transfers potentially.
I've got a funny feeling I know what that's about.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'll ask you that in just a second, but obviously, firstly, we've got to get your score prediction. Daza went with a 2-1 win to Sevilla. Are you going to go down a similar route, or do you think United can get the job done?
I think they can get the job done. It's a different team to the Mourinho team. Players are playing for the manager. In that game, nobody really played for the manager, let's be fair. Players like Lukaku, when that were in that team, got embarrassed. And you got to think that was at home. That was at Old Trafford and we got embarrassed. And it was over two legs, yeah. in the first leg when we played in Sevilla at their place, didn't exactly play well. They had to pull off about 5 wonder saves to even keep us in the tie. But that's obviously the past. Like I said, the club's moving forward. It's moved forward since Ole's taken over. It's developed, and players like Pogba and that have spoken a lot about how they've wanted to play in these big nights. They want to win trophies at the club. Fernandes spoke about it today in the press conference. We want to win trophies as a team and as a club. And when somebody says as a team, that's a very positive thing for a player to say, that we are a team, because we're not a team of individuals anymore. Let's be fair, Kieran. We're a team. It's not like we've got one major star in there, such as Pogba. The team's changed now. We've got 4 or 5 stars in there. Greenwood's one of them. Martial, Pogba, Bruno. The list goes on and on. The only weakness I'd say to the game would be probably down Man United's left-hand side with Brandon Williams. They're going to target the weakest link, the young lad. That's just what's going to happen, But if United weather the storm, should we say, because Sevilla are going to come full throttle, really. Put it in first gear, and they're not going to take the foot off the gas. And I want the exact same from Man United. But I just think that United have got the quality of players. They've got the match winners. And I'd probably, I'm not going to be over ambitious because it's a semi-final. I'll go for Daz's score, but we can switch the teams round. And it's not going beyond 90 minutes. Not for me. I just think that Ole, he knows these type of games. He's played against these kind of teams, Sevilla, who are major bogey teams, but they've overcome him. He's overcome him as a player, and he'll overcome him as a manager for sure.
Yeah, I think definitely the fact that Solskjaer, what he's been through, the journey he's been on, I think that's definitely going to put him in good stead, especially when you're playing the likes of Man City and Chelsea. We beat Man City 3 times this season. I think that's definitely got to be a big factor in this game. Hopefully, the players as well can turn up for him, because if the players don't turn up, then you're not going to get the win. So for him, I hope the players turn up tomorrow.
For sure.
Who knows we're going to get the job done, but I just hope those players get the job done. Get the job done. Finally, Tom, I just want to quickly ask you. Obviously, we know that you have a bit of insight now into the inside track of a few transfers. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You're a bit of our man on the inside now. So obviously, the Jadon Sancho stuff. There's been so much kind of. I'd say negative stuff come out about Jadon Sancho, really, in terms of the Man United deal. To your understanding, where do you think that is? Where do you think we are with the Jadon Sancho deal right now? And is there any hope for it?
The best way to put it is should we say a percentage? I'd say there's probably a 75% chance the deal won't happen. But there is a 25% chance. And the 25% chance is relying on Man United stumping up the cash. Dortmund are not dropping the asking price at all. Not going to happen. 120 euros or nothing. So it's a case of you pay the money or you don't get the player. It's as simple as that. United, I've tweeted a lot. There's a lot of other alternatives out there, such as, say, Ousmane Dembele's a name, Kingsley Coman's a name. And they're obviously alternative targets if United do decide to walk away from the deal. But from my knowledge and understanding, United have stated to Borussia Dortmund that, look, put the price down to an appropriate price that we're prepared to meet, given the financial situation with not just us as a football club, but other clubs. And then we can go from somewhere there. And pretty much Dortmund have said, look, we've done it before with other clubs. You either pay us the money or you don't get the player. It's as simple as that. Barcelona's hand were forced with Dembele. So does Arsenal with Aubameyang. Will it be Man United? Probably not for me. For me, from what I hear and everything, I don't necessarily think the deal's off as of yet. But there's not a high percentage that it's still on. It's a very, very low chance. But, I think United, if they don't get Jadon Sancho, would I expect them to go in for possibly another right winger? Absolutely, yes, I would. I think they'd just drop down the pecking order, really. Good second choice, third choice, whatever. But I do think I'll confirm it. Well, I can't confirm it because I can't read to the future, but I definitely expect United to sign a right winger this summer for me, because all the rumour that's happened, the right winger's the primary target and everything this summer. So I just think it's a case of, I think it's a case of when, not if. But I think, definitely sign a right winger. And the question that I've been asked a lot on Twitter is, when United fans have messaged me about news and stuff, is do Man United sooner sign, 3 players for 120 million euros, or do you sign 1 player for the same price? And that's where it works out. United possibly just getting Jadon Sancho, it doesn't improve the team 100%. But if they went in for the other players, then it improves 3 positions rather than 1. So it's just a case of that. But from my understanding, the only chance the deal will get done is if United pay 120 million euros, which I think a lot of United fans and a lot of people have the understanding of. Man United aren't going to pay anywhere near that. Even if they're putting in an instalment plan, it's not going to happen. So I just think I wouldn't. I'd probably, if I had to put a time frame on it, in the next 2 weeks there'll probably be some sort of news that will come out to say, yeah, United have walked away from the negotiating table, and probably after that, then you'll hear about other things. So.
Yeah, I think
What's
to be
up?
fair, that's the main...
Someone about football.
What was it?
Someone about football.
What was it?
One of my online mates that I play FIFA
Right,
with.
okay then. Sorry, come on.
But yeah, I think to be fair, I agree. I think, obviously, you've probably got a lot of insider knowledge that we don't have, but I think I would probably agree that the deal, from what you see in the media and stuff like that, the deal doesn't look likely right now. But obviously things can change. There is a lot of time. I think the transfer window ends in October, doesn't it, or something like that. So yeah, it's pretty mad. So I don't know what's going to happen with that deal, to be honest with you. But if we don't get Jadon Sancho, there's obviously some alternatives as well, but we'll see about that. But Tom, mate,
Yeah.
I'm going to get KSI on as well, because I know that he wants to come on. But, mate, we'll definitely do a stream very, very soon, maybe after Sevilla game, if we go out or not. Hopefully we don't go out, but even if we don't, I'll definitely get you on for a full transfer video. We can talk all of your, insider knowledge, whatever, and just talk all about transfers. But thanks for coming, mate. Really appreciate it. And hopefully
No
your
problem,
prediction
man.
comes right. Hopefully we get the job done. But thanks for coming on, mate. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. See you in a bit.
See you in a bit, man. Well, there you are. But yeah, I think what he said about the Jadon Sancho news, a lot of people, from what we've seen on social media, that's not really surprising. I think Dortmund aren't as hurried for cash as you thought. I kind of thought that Dortmund would need the money a lot more, but it seems like they're being a lot more stubborn. So, yeah, that's the news. But yeah, KSI, if you want to call in for a little while, then you can. I'm not going to be live for much longer. We're coming up to the hour mark, so yeah. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. A lot of you guys saying about the Lyon game. Looks like Man City are going out, which is decent. But yeah, right. Let's get Kasim on. Okay. Can I wait? So, first of all, thank you, Kasim, for coming. But do I call you KSI or Kasim? Which one do you prefer?
I mean, just call me Kasim, really, because you've been calling me that the whole way. So why not? Call me that.
All right, cool, man. I'll call you Kasim. Whatever you prefer. But thanks for coming on, mate.
Bro.
Appreciate it, as always. Make sure to check out his channel. Great stuff on there.
United Voice.
Make sure to check that out if you haven't already. But yeah, I'm going to start off with the first question and ask both Darza and Tom. Sevilla, very decent side. They can control the midfield. Mm-hmm. How do United go about stopping them tomorrow?
So, as you know, we played the Champions League. We played the Champions League a couple of years ago against Sevilla. And, we lost the game 2-1. Dreadful performance. Like Manchester City today, we played like, well, not like, we played like Lyon today. Played. Remember when City scored the goal? That's how we played. We played defensively, and we let Sevilla attack and attack, and of course Ben Yedder got the goal, and then Sevilla got momentum and scored the second goal, and the tie was over. Manchester United must play attacking football. If Manchester United don't play attacking football, they will lose. Let's be honest, they will lose because even though we play defensively, I think Sevilla will open us up and get the goal. Manchester United need to play attacking football. Manchester United play attacking football, then we can maybe, pose a threat to Sevilla and absolutely batter them. I like to talk about Marcus Rashford. As you know, I'm a Rashford fanboy, as lots of people would say. But we'll get to that. But for me, Karen, I don't know about you. I'm not really worried about Sevilla, really. I think if Manchester United get the first goal, we'll blitz them, honestly. But if we need to play attacking. We need to play the United way. And if we play the United way, then Manchester United have a chance of absolutely trashing them. Because Pogba and Bruno Fernandes will chuck the ball forward to Martial, open space, and he'll score, obviously, because he's that dude, our striker. He's our striker. We've got so many clinical players. Mason Greenwood, also a very good clinical player. I'd like to discuss Alphonso Davies and Luke Shaw and Wan-Bissaka all in one. The Bayern Munich left back, the one that destroyed Barca yesterday. Manchester United are not. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I'm actually having worries about Aaron Wan-Bissaka now because he's not doing the performances that he's done ever since lockdown lifted, really. I personally think if Wan-Bissaka was on form, he's the best right back. He's the best fullback in the world with Alphonso Davies. But it's just he's actually got skinned a few times now, and people don't really look at it, and they blame Maguire and Lindelof, and blame them. I think Wan-Bissaka is a very big fault ever since lockdown. With our goals, he's given too much space to the opposition's left winger, and they're getting chances. Most of them they don't score because they're absolute dog crap. But he's given too much space, and I don't hate Maguire. Obviously, I don't rate Harry Maguire as a top level Manchester United centre back. I rate him as a substitute United centre back, but not first team. I admit that, but let's be honest, some of these aren't Maguire's fault, and it's Wan-Bissaka's fault for giving too much space to your opposition, and then they run, and then they skin Maguire, and then that's a goal. That's basically it. But yeah, that's a very, very big statement to make about Wan-Bissaka when he's been absolutely our best player. He's been one of our best players, Kieran, really. And you need to realise that Wan-Bissaka, he's the best on form, he's the best full-back in the world on form. And he's going through a rough patch right now. And I don't know what's the issue with him. But we'll see. Going back to the Sevilla game, Manchester United need to play attacking. Manchester United, if they don't play attacking, they'll lose the game. Honestly, they'll lose the game. We need to change the formation, not the 4-2-3-1 tonight. We need to go with the 4-3-3 holding and press Sevilla up high the pitch, and we'll get some goals. That's what I'm going to say. Do you agree with my opinion, Kieran?
Well, yeah, look, I do agree that we have to press them, we have to call. There's no good kind of sitting back and letting Sevilla come. We've got to play our attacking style of play. I think in some cases we have to be pragmatic and we'll have periods in the game where we're going to have to sit back and defend a little bit. But ultimately, if we are going to go through, we have to score, and we're not going to score by just sitting there and doing nothing. But yeah, in terms of one thing I want to ask you before I ask you about your overall prediction for the game, whether United are going to do it or not, do you think De Gea should start over Sergio Romero, or do you think Romero should keep his place? And what do you think about Matic potentially going over Fred, playing over Fred? Do you think that Fred keeps his place from his performance against Copenhagen, or do you think Matic should go in ahead of him?
Can I add a little bit of Rashford as well?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Because I said, okay, thank you. First of all, I'd say Nemanja Matic. I'll start with De Gea first. David De Gea, top-class goalkeeper on his day. Made mistakes, but you have to realise where he's kept us through. But I think David De Gea should start the game. Even though I think this is a game. Remember Sevilla, they create so many chances. They're attacking side. They create so many chances, right?
Yeah.
And David De Gea is one of the best in reflexes. So that's why I say I'd probably start David De Gea. If this was Wolves or so, in case, I'd start Romero. That's what I would do if we played Wolves. In the Europa League final, I'd start Romero. But the semi-final, this is David De Gea's chance to redeem himself. But I'm not fussed, really. But I'd rather go De Gea because he makes reflexes, saves, and this is the type of game for him. What's his name again? Matic. I said on my predicted lineup, I think we'll go with Matic. Fred definitely deserves to start. People are putting disrespect on Fred's name. Pastor Fred, bro. Put respect on his name. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what your history is. Put respect on my pastor, bro. Like, no, well, I'm not, Christian, but you have to put respect on Fred's name. And I think, why not start him? Why not start him tomorrow? Why not start Fred and give him a chance to prove himself? And if Fred does a very good job, why can't he not become a future CDM? That's all I would say. Rotation is very key, but I would start Fred. Or I don't know. Actually, this is a hard game. I might start Matic and put Fred in the final against Inter or somebody if we're through. But it's going to be a very, very hard and difficult, evening tomorrow. All right, Rashford now. The GOAT. He has not been on the form that I expected him to be. He's not been that rash Goatford for ever since lockdown, really. Well, not ever since. I mean, the only good game that was world class in. The game that was world class in was flipping Crystal Palace. So Crystal Palace was the game he was thingied in. But it's gonna be a very hard game for him tomorrow, and hopefully he scores a hat trick or something, and gets his confidence up and improves as a top player. Rashford, for me personally, on his day I think Rashford's better than Eden Hazard. Let's be honest. I think Rashford's better than Hazard, and I think he's also probably better than what's his name again, Neymar. Honestly, because he's that dude, bro. He's that top player on the top day. He'll come up. Semi-final tomorrow. Rashford turns into Ronaldo and grabs a hat trick. Who knows? But I've said it many times. Rashford reminds me of Cristiano Ronaldo, and I think Kieran is actually unfortunate because I think Rashford should be rested. I think Rashford should be rested for the new season. And I think next season, Rashford will get 30 goals in that. But I want to talk about the agenda against Rashford and people talking trash about flipping Rashford, right? Or, Kieran, share the stream. I'm going to share the stream. I don't care. Ladies and gentlemen, watch Red Over Weekly, right? Listen to me here, you football buffoons. Why are you comparing Martial to Rashford? Martial and Rashford are two top players, and they're on the same team. Why are you comparing them? This is the comment that I get. Let me pull this up. This is it. Rashford is trash. Martial is one of the best strikers in the world. Get rid of Rashford. He's a useless brick. Disgraceful.
Bit harsh. I agree. Bit harsh.
Do not put that thing on Rashford. Do you hear me? You blithering idiot. Where was Martial in some of those games when Rashford had to carry the team? You know, Martial and Rashford need each other. If you put Rashford on a one-man mission, I think, personally, and, you know, if Mark Goldbridge was watching this team, he'd call me a flippin' prat because I said Rashford, I mean, you're not comparing Rashford to Martial. I know Mark loves Rashford, right? But he's having digs at Rashford and backing Martial all the time and that. Guys, criticize him when criticizing needed. Rashford, don't criticize him till next season. All I would say. That's all I would say about Rashford. And you know, Rashford, if Marcus Rashford scores a hat-trick tomorrow, people will be on the Rashford bandwagon again. So you know that these bricks that said Rashford's trash, you're not on the Rashford bandwagon. Me, Kieran, do you want to join the Rashford bandwagon?
I don't join bandwagons, to be honest with you. I don't know. I think Rashford this season has been very, very good. But I think
he's been a goat.
Well, no, I would say pretty well all the players have had good points in the season, but they've also had bad patches. Like, since the restart,
Kieran,
Rashford
I'm telling you.
He hasn't been great.
Kieran, I'm telling you. If you put him in the Juventus and Barcelona side, you know how Juventus lost to Lyon and Barcelona got thrashed by Bayern? Rashford would single-handedly knock both teams out. He's that good.
You think so? You think Rashford...
On form, he would... The Rashford of January would single-handedly knock them out easy. That's all I would say.
Do you think Rashford would do better than what Ronaldo did against Lyon?
I think Rashford would motivate them more. I think Cristiano Ronaldo is the best player in the world, but I think Marcus Rashford, you know, Ronaldo's goal was just flipping and sensational. But if you put Rashford in that Juventus team, he's got more pace and he goes inside that, and I think Rashford will score more goals in that team. I think Rashford would probably, you know, that free kick at the end, I think Rashford would score it. He's that big player. And Barcelona, Bayern Munich, I still think Bayern Munich would have beaten Barcelona, but I think Rashford would have scored some goals. I think it'd probably be, 8-4. I think Rashford would probably get 8-4. That's what I think it would have been. So that's why I'm saying Rashford, on his day, for me personally, if you put him on the Ronaldo and Messi, Barcelona and Juventus side, he'd easily grab them a Champions League. And I don't know what's the issue with Rashford. Maybe it's because he's not the main man anymore and he thrives off that. Maybe that's the issue. But, you know, I see if Rashford left Manchester United to go to Manchester City, he'd still be my favourite player, no matter what. He's my favourite player. He'll always be my favourite player. And hopefully he can grab a hat-trick tomorrow and silence all the critics and, shut everyone up. But, yeah, mate. Go on.
Well, no, I was just gonna say, I hope you're right. I hope he does score a hat-trick tomorrow. But I don't know. I love Rashford. I think he's a decent player. But
what does he remind you of?
Well, no, I think he's got some tendencies which are good. Don't get me wrong, like, you know, Ronaldo and people like that, right? Obviously,
he reminds me of Cristiano Ronaldo. Yeah, he reminds me of Cristiano Ronaldo.
I would say for me, and this is just personally, I would say that Rashford, not just yet, I don't think he's doing it consistent enough to be at that level. I think he's a very good player on his day. Like, when Rashford's on form, he's very, very difficult to defend against. But unfortunately, this season we haven't seen that consistently enough. But we have seen it a decent amount. Obviously, I think he played very, very well. But I just want to read a few of the comments about what you said here. Welcome, Techman, and welcome, Sifo. Thanks for joining.
What did they say?
Well, Techman here says but did someone spike this kid's teeth? And he's saying you're trolling. Mate. And Sifo said,
wait. Let me respond to that flipping fool.
Go on.
As I was trolling, Rashford, mate. First of all, what team do you support? if you support Manchester United, then
No,
I'll tell you this.
Tech's a hardened Chelsea supporter for his sins, unfortunately.
What did Rashford do to you? What did Rashford do to you all season? He thrashed you. How many goals has he scored against you? 4 goals. 4 goals. You have nothing to say, you flippin' fool. Don't compare Rashford to flippin' Pulisic. Rashford on form, he's top 5 best players in the world. Easy. Rashford is Manchester on form. Manchester United's Marcus Rashford is the best player in that flipping team. He's better than Fernandes. Rashford on form would carry Manchester United to a Premier League title, bro. Controversial, I don't care.
Well, I was going to say on form, Rashford is very, very difficult to start. But you could argue on form, when he's like right on form, he's one of the best players in the league, definitely. But
who's next? What comment was?
I was just going to say
next.
Sifo's joined us.
Keep
Sifo,
going. Let me find shots.
Well, Sifo said that Rashford isn't useless, so he's saying he's not bad, but Martial is levels better than Rashford. What are your thoughts on that?
Nah, no way. I think Rashford's we can't compare our players.
So you're saying Rashford is levels ahead of Martial? Are you saying that? Are you saying that, Kasim? Are you saying that Rashford is miles better than Martial? Kasim.
No, I'm saying Rashford's better than Martial, not miles better.
Okay,
he's better.
Right.
Just.
And Matthew Coyle's joined the stream and he said Rashback.
Martial, for me personally, is, in the next couple of years, when it's 27-20, I think he'll be the best striker in the world. But I see Rashford winning a Ballon d'Or one day. That's all I'm gonna say. Martial can win a Ballon d'Or, but Rashford's that dude, bro. That's all I'm gonna say. But my prediction for the game, I'll give you that.
Go on, mate. Go on. Yeah, we'll get on to that, and then we'll probably have to wrap up.
Yeah, 2-1 Man United. 2-1 Man United. I think we'll win the game. Rashford will grab 2 goals.
Hey, listen, I was surprised you didn't go Rashford hat-trick there. I wasn't surprised you didn't go with that, but look, if Rashford scores 2 against Sevilla and wins us the game, then I'll say fair play.
He's a goat.
He's somewhat of a goat.
Wait. See, if Rashford scores a hat-trick tomorrow, Kieran, you have to do something. You have to, at the start of the stream, right, you have to bow down to him and do this. You have to bow down. Come on.
Okay.
If he scores a hat-trick.
If he scores a hat-trick, I will bow down to Marcus Rashford. I will do. By the way,
at the start of the stream,
just before you go, LSR Pre-Drinks Live, thanks for joining. He says, dude, Rashford is dusted, mate. If you think he's winning a Ballon d'Or, you are tapped. So mixed comments for you today, Kasim. There's. I
love the hate comments. I always thrive with the hate comments.
You thrive on the hate.
I always love hate. We love hate. Bring them.
I agree, mate. I agree.
Wait. Subscribe to go tell them to subscribe to the United Voice.
Yeah,
and subscribe to your channel.
Make sure you do.
So you can find more controversial stuff from your boy K-Sai. But
exactly.
Go on, Kieran.
If you like somebody, if you want more golden nuggets from Kasim here, make sure to check out United Voice. Very, very good stuff on there. And yeah, great content, great Man United content, previews, reviews, all that great stuff. So make sure you check it out if you haven't already. But Kasim, mate, thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it. And hopefully have a good rest of your evening. And yeah, thanks for coming on.
You gonna be doing watch along tomorrow?
I don't think I'll be doing a watch
along tomorrow.
I probably won't be doing a watch.
Do you want to come on my?
Do you
want to come on for my watch along?
I can't, unfortunately, mate. I can't. I don't think I would be able to. I would if I could, but I can't, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
it's okay, bro. It's okay.
But yeah, I will be doing a probably review after the game, whether it's a video or a stream.
Premier?
We'll see. But anyway, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, Kasim. Really appreciate it, and hope you're doing all right. And I'll see you in a bit.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, man.
Oh shit! I think I'm sorry. If Kasim, if you're about to say something, I'm so sorry. I cut you off. I'm so sorry. But anyway, thanks for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it. Thanks to everyone who joined. Really appreciate it as well. And yeah, that's it. I've got nothing else to say really. Great points all round. Thanks to everyone who came in at the end. The little Rashford rant, you know, as I said, if you want some more of that sort of stuff, make sure you check out United Voice and all the channels as well that I mentioned in the stream. RB Comps as well. I'm doing great, man. Thanks for joining. Make sure to check out RB Comps' channel if you haven't already. Great stuff on there. But thanks for watching. But yeah, I'm going to end it. Thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. Man City are out as well. Yeah, it is what it is. But if we go out, that means the Premier League's dusted. The Premier League is dusted as a league in Europe. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next one.